Welcome to another episode of the Blue Stable Podcast, the official Colts podcast of Fansided. I am here once again. I am your host, Rashad McGinnis. I am here with my two co-hosts, two people that argue more than me and my wife, Michael Terrazas and Dustin Adams. How are you guys doing today?
Well, I mean, hey, we argue, but we already know who gets the ass whooped every time on this podcast. That's Destin all the time, man. I got to give it to him. I got love for him, but maybe I got to ease up on him because I'm going to be checking into Hotel Adams come September.
Yeah, as I say, I mean, if the listeners ever leave our show thinking, man, Michael taught me something today. Michael came on this podcast and just proved us wrong today. I don't think that's ever happened, guys. Like, you guys can let us know in the comments if I'm wrong. But I'm just super thankful to be back, guys. Like, love recording, love talking to my boys about Colts football, and we have a lot of fun things to talk about tonight.
I actually have to say one thing. I actually did get a message. No, guys, Destin and I do not hate each other. We're not fighting through emotions on the show, trying to be professional. We are literally like freaking best buds. That's literally how it is.
We probably message. Do we talk every day? I can't remember.
We talk every day. We argue in the messages as well.
Oh my God.
I cannot remember the last time I had a peaceful day ever since I started podcasting with Michael, because we talk every single day.
Okay, I just wanted to make that clear because literally, guys, we don't hate each other, okay? Destin just hates it when I get some stuff right, like Zaven Collins being prioritized as a draft prospect. So him or Jamin Davis is also going to win Defensive Player of the Year, but that's another prediction. Well, unless Quiddy.
Man, you're already crapping on our boy Quiddy Pay. Rashad, take the mic away from this man.
I'm attempting
let's get it.
When we record in person, man, I'm gonna wear my striped shirt. I'm gonna wear my referee shirt, so I'm gonna be sitting between y'all. Definitely gonna sit y'all on opposite ends. Y'all can't sit next to each other, man.
No, we ain't gonna be sitting nowhere. We gonna get furniture moving. We gonna put the gloves on. That's what we gonna do. I'm gonna throw a leg kick on this dude's front lead leg, and he going down.
You can't put the gloves on and kick someone in the leg, Mike. That's not how it works.
Hey, people get paid $800,000 to do that.
Well, look, I know we're excited about the schedule, but before we get into that, we got announced a roster move has been made. The Colts have signed Eddie Pinheiro, kicker, which upset a lot of Colts Nation. You know, they see that as a legitimate threat to Rodrigo Blankenship. So what are your guys' opinion on that?
Colts Nation gets upset? Are you kidding me?
What?
No, but, man, I've tried to put it out there as many times as I can on Twitter, commenting on people's things. The Colts were always going to add a kicker. I mean, they're never not going to have two kickers entering into camp. It never happens. I mean, you have to have some sort of competition. You can't let anybody feel like they already have the spot, that they don't got to earn that spot. I mean, I guarantee you the plan is still for Hot Rod to go get it. But if Eddie comes into camp and his 70-yard field goals are for some reason going in, you got to give him the job.
Jesus, man. Look, everybody, this became the hottest topic even after the schedule got released. I don't know why. I don't even know why people hate Rodrigo. The dude literally has a record kick in the Rose Bowl. And I don't
think it's that people hate him. I think it's the opposite.
People I can go through my feed again and talk about, oh yeah, I like Eddie. Give me Eddie. Hot Rod is weak. He's got a noodle leg.
Yeah, people have been saying that.
Yeah, like, dude,
man, the only person that I've ever seen on my feed slander Hot Rod is Zach Hicks. But Zach Hicks hates all kickers. So like, he's at least consistent with it.
I feel like Zach finds amusement on hating on players for some reason. I have no idea why.
I mean,
I don't know, but
he is very vocal about hating kickers. But I mean, maybe our feeds are just opposite. I've not seen one Colts fan be against Hot Rod. I think it's all been like,
really?
Like, my feed has been full of people thinking that the Colts are disrespecting him by bringing in another kicker and all this other stuff. And I was just like, that's why I've had to correct so many people. Like, chill out. Like, the dude's still, like, they always bring a kicker into camp. Like, don't get overheated over something so small. Man, I want to see your guys' feeds now.
Look, I mean, he's nothing more than a camp body. Chris Ballard has always preached competition. And I got to give it to him, man. I mean, I believe I texted y'all this the other day. I think it was yesterday or so, but you got to give it to Ballard, man. This is the best Colts roster from top to bottom I have ever seen as a Colts fan. And he keeps adding competition. And I mean, he's not taking Hot Rod's job, but it's going to make Hot Rod work even more for it to let him know that, hey, man, this is the NFL. You got to work for it every year. You got to update your resume every year, and that's what he's pushing him to do.
All right, y'all. We had the exciting announcement of the schedule. We're going to get into a schedule breakdown, but we're going to do it a little differently from how it's traditionally done. Instead of just going through each game by game, we're going to actually break it down into 3 parts. We're going to do 6 games apiece, and after every 6 games, we're going to give our reaction to the 6, and we're going to pick our favorite matchup, hardest matchup and easiest matchup. That's the way we're going to do it. So who wants the pleasure of running down the 6, or y'all want me to do it? I'll take care of it, y'all.
Hey, you're running point, Rashad. Go for it.
Come on, man.
Okay. Well, I'll take care of it. I just didn't want to. I didn't want to hog the mic. I like to empower.
You gotta
my
understand.
co-hosts.
You gotta understand the assignment, Rashad.
That's what I have to do.
Yeah,
okay.
Understand the assignment.
All right. Week 1, opening day. Colts will have a home game versus the Seattle Seahawks. Week 2, the Colts will have another home game against the Los Angeles Rams. Week 3, for the first time, the Colts will be on the road. It will be at the Tennessee Titans.
Blowout.
Week 4, the Colts will be on the road again at the Miami Dolphins. Week 5, the Colts will be on the road again for the 3rd time in a row against the Baltimore Ravens. That will be a primetime game.
Our secondary is going to have 4 interceptions.
And week 6, the Colts will be at home against the Deshaun Watson-less Houston Texans.
No masseuse is here to save him.
Say what we assume will be the Deshaun Watson-less
Correct.
Houston Texans. Rashad just had the mic, so I'll go ahead and give my hardest and easiest first, and then I'll pass it along. I'm going to say the hardest is going to be at Baltimore. I just think it's going to be first of all, it's a primetime game. Obviously, it's going to be on Monday night at Baltimore. I hate having to play in Baltimore. I've never been a fan. I just always feel like they're one of those teams that get away with a lot when you travel there. They're a team that has a lot of high personality guys too. So I want to say the hardest one is going to be at Ravens. It was close with the Rams, but I'm gonna say at Baltimore. And I'm gonna say the easiest one's going to be, we're going to say the Houston Texans because we're assuming that Deshaun Watson's not there. And if the Colts get to play Davis Mills, I'll be excited to see Rocky Ya-Sin have his bounce back year. Hopefully continue at week 6.
Hey, we're gonna agree. The easiest one is gonna be Houston, but I'll disagree and go with the Rams simply because they have the quarterback that's proven to make throws, contested throws, accurate throws. Lamar still got to show me that, and I'm going to pay very close attention to him this year. I like the guy. I think he's a great leader, great face of the organization, but I got to see him make those throws. The defenses, if you compare them, LA's the best. Obviously, shout out to Rashad and that family, but I'm very scared for that matchup. I'm just terrified because I don't know who the defensive line coach are, but if he does not have, I'll say this: if he has Aaron Donald inside one play, he's gone. Your chance as a DC is gone, because if you don't take care of Sam Tevi, if you don't put Aaron Donald out there alone, man, Jesus, man, much love to that guy. He's our guy, but oh man, that's going to be very interesting. The defense in that game is going to be very special, in my opinion. The offenses, we're still going to see what Jonathan Taylor can be, Marlon Mack, Carson Wentz. It's always going to be about Carson Wentz. But for those reasons, I got to go with the Rams. There's such a more complete team than Baltimore.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a clean sweep with the Texans. I think even if Deshaun Watson's there, I still have that as the easiest game. Not saying it's an easy game, period, but just saying out of that stretch, it will be between them and Miami, maybe. So I would definitely still go with Houston being the easiest game. And my toughest game will have to be the Los Angeles Rams, probably because I would lose a relationship if I didn't pick them. But in all seriousness, they had the number 1 defense last year. I mean, they lost a safety and a slot corner, but they still have 2 cornerbacks that finished in the top 10. They have a defensive lineman that's probably the best defensive lineman I've ever seen in my life. The offense, adding Matt Stafford, I think will allow Sean McVay to open up his playbook a lot more. He was very limited with the plays he could call with Jared Goff at quarterback. His arm just was so limited, and it was the different things that he could not do in the offense that Sean McVay wanted to run. So I know that's why they even spent a little extra to get Matt Stafford, and I think that's really going to open up their offense some. And with Cam Akers, the way he ended off last year, he was emerging, and he's looking like a legitimate 3-down back in the NFL. So that's going to be a difficult matchup. I look forward to seeing it. Aaron Donald, Sam Tebby won't get much sleep that night, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be great. It's going to be great to see the couple snaps that Aaron Donald does get to go up against Quentin Nelson. We really want to see that battle. So let's get to the next 6, guys. Starting off, we're going to be at San Francisco. That's a primetime game. Then we have a home game against Tennessee Titans. Following that, we have a Thursday night meeting with the New York Jets. After that, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then we're going to go on the road to Buffalo. And we're going to end this set of 6 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defending champions of the NFL. How do you guys feel about that patch?
So I feel like I'm probably going to be different on it just because I feel like you guys are probably going to go Tampa Bay. I'm going to say the hardest game is going to be at Buffalo. I just feel like that offense is the type of offense that's given this Eberflus style of defense the most fits, especially if the pass rush doesn't take an extreme step up towards that day. So I'm gonna say at Buffalo is still the hardest game in that area. The easiest game in that stretch, I'm gonna say Thursday Night Football against the Jets, probably, just because I'm not gonna do Jacksonville. We always find a way to lose one against Jacksonville. Usually it's at Jacksonville, which is week 18 this year. We'll get to that later, but I'm still gonna say that the easiest one's gonna be Thursday Night Football at the Jets.
The easiest one, yeah, I got it. Actually, oh man, I don't know. It's actually between Jacksonville and New York for me because both have rookie quarterbacks. One in New York, I just don't think highly of, but the team around them, I got to give them credit. They did put some good pieces around them. From top to bottom, how good are they? I'm actually going to go with the Jets because I think in Jacksonville, having DJ Chark, Robinson, Marvin Jones Jr., that's going to be pretty good defense-wise. We'll see there. But, yeah, the hardest one, I like the thought of Tampa Bay. I like the thought of Tampa Bay, or Buffalo. But I would go there if it was in December and we would expect snow. Honestly, I would have gone there. I believe it's going to be like I want to say a week before Thanksgiving. I want to say
November 21st. I mean,
November. Yeah. So
you definitely could still see snow late November in New York.
Could. I mean, I'm not ruling it out, but I am going to go Tampa Bay because they're probably the most complete team in the NFL. Quarterback, offensive line, don't know how much of a run game they have yet. Playing against Green Bay and Kansas City, of course, you're going to run the ball on those teams, but got to see that there. They have 4 number ones on their offense. The defense, man, that's going to be the hardest one in that slate for sure.
Yeah, easiest game, just to be different from you guys, I'm going to go Jacksonville. Jacksonville normally always gives us trouble, but like you say, that's a home game. We should win. It's a new coaching regime in Jacksonville, so it's not anybody that's really familiar with Indianapolis per se. It was a lot of roster overhaul, so they won't have many players that's that familiar with the Colts as they traditionally would have. New quarterback coming in, new running back. Like you say, DJ Chark kind of scares me. He's been a Colts killer the past couple of years, but I think I'm gonna go with Jacksonville. That first game against them. The home game scares me at the end of the season, but we'll get to that later. My toughest game, I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to go with San Fran. Their defense is flat out scary when healthy. And the offense itself, roster-wise, doesn't scare me besides the fact that George Kittle is a mismatch that no one seems to have an answer for. But it's Mike Shanahan that actually scares me the most. The way San Francisco calls plays, Kyle, my bad. The way San Francisco calls plays, everybody's emulating their offense right now. He manages to get average players to play great. Like he's done that with quarterbacks for the past. He's gave Matt Ryan his only MVP season that he has in his career. He's gotten the most out of Jimmy Garoppolo, and now he has Trey Lance. If Trey Lance is the guy by this point, I feel like he would have been settled down by now. That'll be week 7, and it's a primetime game. It's on the road. I just see that as a real tough game on the schedule.
Hey, I mean, the last time we were in San Francisco at Candlestick, good old Candlestick Park, that was the debut of Trent Richardson, guys. That was the debut of the all great Trent Richardson. So who knows, man? We can
CFL great.
Mike, you trying to get kicked off this podcast? That's a terrible memory, by the way.
Hey, man, that's actually a good point you made about San Francisco because Bosa, that was an ACL, right? It wasn't an Achilles.
Yeah.
It was an ACL. So, yeah, he'll be back from that.
He also tore it very early last year.
Very early.
Was it like week 2 or 3?
Yeah, he probably can play right now. Like
I think he tore it against the Jets, I think. So, yeah, that's a good point, especially for Trey Lance.
Yep. All right, man. So let's get into the next 6. We open up the next 6 on the road at the Houston Texans. Then we have our next game, which will be against the New England Patriots, which they don't have a date here. It says the 18th or the 19th. It's to be determined. Do you have an official date on it?
So it's one or the other because the 18th is Saturday.
Oh, it could be a Saturday.
So because the Saturday games are opening up around then, so like technically we could get moved into a 5th primetime game if that goes to a Saturday.
Yeah, which would make sense if it went to a Saturday because we played the following Saturday, which is Christmas. We played at the Arizona Cardinals. Following that, we go to a home game against the Las Vegas Raiders, who have the hottest ticket in town right now for some apparent reason. Then we play at Jacksonville, and the last game, that was the last game. At Jacksonville.
Yeah, so we end the year at Jacksonville. Man, this one's a tough one for easiest and hardest.
Yeah.
First of all, something I want to highlight on the schedule, having a week 14 bye sucks. Like that is so late in the season. I mean, I feel for the guys. I can't imagine that that's something they were super excited about. I was really hoping for a week 10 bye with the 18-week year. But hey, it's how the schedule falls. I mean, I'm going to say easiest off the assumption that Deshaun Watson doesn't play. I'm still going to go Texans because if Davis Mills is still playing by this point, or maybe they've traded for Gardner Minshew.
They do have Tyrod Taylor.
They do have Tyrod Taylor. We'll see if the Houston medical staff allows him to play a full season.
But you had to throw that in there.
I had to
poke fun.
Wow, poke, like a poke in the lung.
Yeah.
Like literally.
That's what I said.
No pun intended.
I was slick. Slick with that one.
So we're gonna say the easiest one I'm gonna go is the Houston Texans again. The hardest one in this stretch. I mean, I'm gonna say at Arizona. I mean, it depends on how this team plays. Like, there's a lot of new moving parts in Arizona. The defense still needs to be better than it was last year, even with the addition of J.J. Watt. Because, I mean, Hassan Reddick had a solid year last year. So if J.J. Reddick adds the same pass rush as Reddick did last year, they still have other holes on that defensive side. But if this new regime is able to get this team together, they have a lot of talent on both sides of the ball to be able to be a top 3 seed in the NFC if they want to be. They're in a really tough division. So that game should matter. It's at Arizona. It's on Christmas. It'll be an interesting one to watch for sure, and the whole world will be watching, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, the easiest, Jacksonville, Houston. I'll go Houston. Still got a solid guy over there in Kiki Kuti from out of Texas Tech, speedster, loves to kill the Colts, but struggles with, some injuries here and there, but that's the only guy I fear. They did draft Nico Collins, by the way. So,
Mm.
but the hardest, man, I don't know. This one, I'm back and forth between New England and Arizona. I really am. I'm very curious to see. You know, I assume there's not going to be any opt-outs on the defensive side of the ball for Belichick this year. Cam Newton was set up to fail from the beginning last year.
You think Cam's still playing by week 15? You don't think Mac Jones is taking the keys?
Well, if Cam Newton has the offensive line that he should have had last year, he's got the weapons now. And if he plays the way I think he can play, which is why I kind of mentioned him as a cheap deal after Phillip Rivers retired, then yeah, he's definitely still playing, and he's probably going to earn himself an extension or earn himself a contract next offseason. But
can you imagine the change in culture and the change in play calling from a move from Cam Newton to Mac Jones? Like, I don't even know if those two guys, like, if you just look at their two play styles, almost the opposite.
Play styles.
If you look at the two personalities, they're probably almost the polar opposites.
One is a freaking high school principal, and then the other one is a Goliath of men, a super athlete for a quarterback. And I mean, I feel for Cam, man. He hasn't been set up to succeed lately, but with this roster, I would imagine, freaking Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith and those guys there.
New England's getting a bunch of opt-out guys back, too. I mean,
yeah, they're getting on the defensive side.
I said their defensive side of the ball is going to be completely different almost.
Kyle Van Noy's back after being let go by Miami, surprisingly. So I think I'm going to go New England. That's going to be a game. I think New England always gets up for Indy because it's the rivalry. Indy will get up for New England. It's the rivalry. I would have said Arizona. Got to have love for my guy Kyler, hometown kid. One of my favorite prospects, Zaven Collins, on his way to Defensive Rookie of the Year. But I got to go New England. I think offensively, defensively, they'll have a nice, balance. So I'll go with New England here.
Do you think McDaniels is fresh enough on Colts fans' mind to get booed when he enters for the first time into Lucas Oil since all that?
Oh, dude, you know how that
years.
You know that GIF we throw out like we're gonna brick you? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna have a brick with me, and as soon as he runs out of the tunnel, boom.
from your couch in Texas, you're gonna be bricking and booing.
Oh no, I'm gonna secretly get up into Lucas Oil Stadium because we have the ends. And dude, all I gotta do is just come in and say, hola, plumbing. ¿Dónde está plumbing? Hey.
We'll see. I actually don't think Indy will boo just because of how it all turned out. I mean, I think we all are happy with Frank Reich. So we'll see how it works.
Josh, just because he's Josh.
Yeah.
Houston 1000% is the easiest game out of this group. Although I do think out of the 3 sets of 6s, I think this is our easiest stretch as a whole.
Which is a nice time to have your easiest stretch.
Exactly. Coming down the stretch of the season, ironically enough. And the toughest, I'm going to go with Arizona. We know that mobile quarterbacks who can throw the ball always gives us trouble and gives our defense fits. We saw it in the past. Kyler Murray is one of those type of guys. Although sometimes it looked like Cliff Kingsbury game plan for the week is just Kyler go make a play. And Kyler is so good that he does it more often than none. Same thing with Russell Wilson in Seattle sometimes. I think Kyler is that good to put this Colts defense in a bit of a tough situation. But I think we do have the defense built to beat them. So I'm going to go with Colts winning that game, but I do think that's the hardest out of this stretch. But New England's a close second for sure. Those weapons scare me. I just don't know where they will be at with Cam or Mac Jones at that point of time. Because like Mike said, Cam has talent, but he has to be allowed the time to make plays and make decisions back there. As long as there's no offensive line and he's just pulling out and running, you're going to see a lot of what you saw last year, which was him being ineffective. So we'll see how that offensive line look. But
I literally just had a thought. Like, can you imagine Kyler Murray with Kyle Shanahan? Could you imagine that offense? Like, Cliff Kingsbury is nowhere near Kyle Shanahan or Frank Reich. He's
not at all.
nowhere
Nowhere
near. You had Johnny Manziel and Patrick Mahomes as your quarterbacks in college. Like, you got very lucky.
He created Mahomes. Mahomes would be nothing without Cliff.
My goodness.
I'm
Mahomes
joking,
would be
of
a
course.
2-time Heisman winner if he didn't have Cliff. But hey, Mahomes, you should have took the TCU offer. But anyways, so yeah, let's move on here. That was just a quick thought I had. Like, man, I would be scared.
Yeah, that would be something the NFL would fear. Most definitely.
I wouldn't be mad if they got 8 primetime games.
No, I wouldn't. I might even move out there just to see all of their games.
Possibly.
Locally.
Well, I was say Arizona might be Mike's. Like, who do you claim is your second team, Mike?
He said Washington.
Is it Washington over Arizona?
Yeah, it's Washington over Arizona.
Hey, Michael loved him some Kyler Murray last year. Let me tell you.
Oh, I still do, man. I still do. I've been watching this dude since he was a freshman. Like,
hey, the biggest quote that probably came from a podcast that me and Michael were on was when he said that he believes Kyler Murray is more important to his team than Patrick Mahomes is.
Yes.
Wait, what?
He makes the Cardinals relevant.
He
right.
made the comment.
Okay.
Kyler Murray is more important to his team than Patrick Mahomes is.
Mike, you're trying to anger me, and I'm trying to be professional. I'm dying to be.
Dude, Kyler Murray makes Arizona relevant. If you swap Jimmy G and Patrick Mahomes, you still have Tyreek Hill. You still got the offensive line. You still got Kelsey. He had George Kittle. Like, he's the Kansas City's still going to be a playoff team. They're just not going to be the Super Bowl favorite.
I don't know if Kansas City's a playoff team with Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm going to be honest. I don't know.
They're going to be the best team in that division, of course.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
the Raiders really.
Like,
the Raiders.
That division sucks, bro.
That division.
The Chargers are going to be there eventually.
They're on the upswing. They're on the upswing.
Yeah, they're looking good.
Brandon Staley has a lot to prove, though, as a head coach. We have no idea what this Chargers team is going to look like on the field. But moving on, we're going to do something different. Colts fans are going to be angry with us. They're going to scream at us because we're going to zoom out a little bit. We're going to zoom out off of the Colts, and we're going to look at the NFL as a whole through a microscope. And we're really going to break down the prime times games. We're going to break down the Thursday night primetime games, the Sunday night primetime games, and the Monday night primetime games. We're going to tell you what's the best matchups and the worst matchups, and who should have got more and who should have got less. So we want to start with Sunday night, or we want to start with Monday night?
Let's start with Thursday. Let's do Thursday, Sunday, Monday. Let's do it in order.
Oh, we'll do it in order? Okay, cool.
Okay.
Well, I'll start it off. As you know, Thursday nights gets the season opener. Of course, we have the Cowboys at the Buccaneers. That should be a really good game. That's going to do a lot of ratings. Michael had a bold statement about it. What was your statement about the ratings it was going to do?
It was going to be the highest. It was going to have the highest ratings of the season. Possibly, it's going to be the game right under the Super Bowl. That's what it's going to be. It's the Cowboys. It's the Buccaneers. Tom Brady. You got Cowboys fans. I mean, go down to Mexico, man. That whole entire freaking country down there is just nothing but Cowboy fans. So yeah, highest ratings of the year.
That's starting it off week 1. I'm gonna skip ahead to week 4. We're gonna see former number 1 pick Joe Burrow against our current number 1 pick Trevor Lawrence when the Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. What do you guys think of that game?
Oh Jesus, Burrow, Jamar Chase team up once again. Jamar Chase is going to give CJ Henderson the business. I am definitely going to be watching that game from first to fourth quarter.
What week is that one?
That's week 4. Week 4.
So that's good. So
juicy.
We should expect Joe Burrow should be still healthy by week 4, and that the Bengals offensive line hasn't folded him over completely by then. But I mean, they have a lot of exciting pieces on both sides. A lot of young pieces. I mean, both teams are still in the low end of their rise up the hill to be a solid team in the NFL. So they're probably both below 500 teams. I mean, now we don't even have the option to be 500, but for sure below that threshold. But I mean, it'll be must-watch TV. You have to rematch of the national championship.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good game. Week 5, the very next week after that, we have Rams at Seahawks. You know, that's a rivalry. 2 teams that's going to be fighting atop the NFC West. I think that's going to be a great game. Then we could skip ahead to week 9. What do y'all think about the Jets at the Colts for the
Go
Colts'
ahead.
first home primetime game in a long time, man? How do
Hey,
y'all
go
feel
ahead and
about the Colts finally getting a home primetime game?
look. We don't consider Thursday night primetime games. Everybody gets those, okay? Everybody gets them, not because they're being highlighted, because they're being tortured. Let's just say that. I wish they would just move it to just Saturday night games or something like that. But yeah, I mean, you're playing the almighty Zach Wilson. Yeah, no, that's domination. That's an easy win, and probably not a lot of people are going to be watching it.
The thing that sucks, I mean, it's still a primetime game. There's no other games on. So if you're a football fan, it's going to be on the TV. So it's still a primetime home game. So I guess we're taking baby steps forward. But the fact that we go as long as we have without having a primetime game in Indianapolis, we still don't get a Sunday night or Monday night game. It's ridiculous. Like, if Indianapolis was a poor hosting city, I would understand it. But I mean, they do everything well. They hosted the Super Bowl well. They just knocked out the entire the whole March Madness tournament.
All
They
68 teams.
Do you understand how many cities could have done that and done it well? As little of prep that they had. They had about a month to be able to get that completely prepared. And Indy knocked it out of the park. You're telling me they can't rock a Sunday night or Monday night football game? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm from here. Maybe I have a little bit of bias. But like Indy, man, like it really is one of the most slept on hosting cities sport wise. They just do everything well. They have so much love for sports here that it just works. And I don't know how they don't get love there, but it really did feel like it's when you complain to your parents about how you don't have enough or your bedtime's too early and they like extend your bedtime by like 30 minutes. Like, it's like, that's what it felt like. It felt like Goodell was like, you know what? You don't have to go to bed at 8. You can stay up till 8:30 tonight.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time on Monday nights when I went to stay up to watch wrestling when I was a little kid. My mom used to make me go to sleep at 10 o'clock, and wrestling went off at 10 o'clock, but it always stayed up a little, about 5 or 10 minutes after 10. So I used to fight for those 5 or 10 minutes.
Old school Sabu, Batista, Kurt Angle.
Look at Mike taking me in the time machine.
We're turning into a different podcast here.
Hey, man, we can talk about our loves as kids.
Let's skip ahead. Let's skip ahead to week 12. Bills at Saints. I think that's an interesting game. I think it's interesting because the Saints finished this year with 5 primetime games, and they have Bills at Saints week 12, and then they have Cowboys at Saints week 13.
Well, yeah. I mean,
both on Thursday?
Yes, Bills at Saints on NBC week 12, then Cowboys at Saints on Fox week 13.
Well, that makes sense because New Orleans and both Dallas have those games on Thursday. So it'll literally be just a week apart, just like for every other team. And that normally happens every other year between the Thanksgiving teams. That happens a lot. So yeah, that one doesn't surprise me. It's always because of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is like an outlier, and they don't count that as Thursday night football because I think that game's not even going to be, or it might be on Fox actually, or it might, that's going to be on Fox.
And Amazon will also have all the Thursday night football games. Like they'll have, that'll be an also option. I mean, the thing about the Saints, I mean, we'll talk about it more in depth when we talk about who should have got more, who should have got less primetime games. But I mean, do you think it's gonna be Jameis or Taysom? I mean, I think you got to go I think you got to be. I think it has to be Jameis.
Yeah. You just have to do too much changing of the game plan. You really have to build the team around the type of quarterback that Taysom Hill is. And I don't think they really want to go that far away from what the game plan was with Drew as that quarterback. So I think it just makes more sense to go.
I think the biggest thing about Taysom is you lose so much value in what he is as a player when you make him play quarterback strictly.
When you actually make him the face of the team.
Like, I think you can have Jameis on the field. I mean, I think you can have Taysom on the field while Jameis is at quarterback. I think you can run if Drew Brees is gone and you have to figure out what you're going to do next, you can have a very exciting offense using Taysom in different ways and keeping defenses on their feet, on the tips of their toes, basically scouting what they're going to do with Taysom. I just hope that's what they end up doing. I mean, I wasn't shocked to see the Bills get more games than they had previously, but the Saints, I mean, I guess that's interesting. Two Thursday nights in a row.
Yeah. Jameis, look, man, Jameis is he's a good quarterback, man. I'm not going to say he's great yet, but you can't deny the accuracy he holds, the arm power he holds, just the turnovers, man. And I'm curious to see how that changes, if it changes under a guy like Sean Payton. So, yeah, I'm not going to be paying close attention to him like I will Washington and Lamar, but
Hey,
man, I do hope good things.
If he needed to learn to be more passive, he sat behind Drew Brees under probably the most passive season we've ever seen Drew Brees have.
That was crazy. That season is nuts. Watching that team, they were so limited, man, due to Drew. But all right, we're gonna end the Thursday night schedule with two games that I think is important. Chiefs at Chargers. You know, the best team in the AFC West against a team with a hot young quarterback that's on the rise, Justin Herbert against Patrick Mahomes. And the last Thursday night game of the season will be the 49ers at our buddies, the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, dude, I hope the 49ers absolutely beat the out of the Titans, dude. I'm so sick and tired of their fans. I wonder if we're going to have another war coming soon. But like we did last year. But yeah, that's going to be Herbert, Mahomes, man. I'm actually kind of upset that didn't. Well, I mean, I'm not sure if it did on another, but did that get another primetime slot? Because I think that's a primetime worthy matchup right there.
Yeah, Thursday night.
I think.
Oh, you talking about the first one?
Yeah, like Sunday, Monday. Did they get another slot together?
I'm not sure.
That needs to be highlighted somewhere, man. But yeah, hey, I mean, it's gonna be fun. Both defenses are kind of up and coming. There's questions about them, but I think I like the talent on LA's a little bit more. So hey, Bosa's gonna be there. We'll see what happens with Derwin James, but man, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, man, that's the slate of Thursday night games. I think it's a good slate. It's a better slate than last year. Last year Thursday night games were some of the worst football I have seen in a long time. Half of these matchups are pretty watchable games. I think probably the worst game out of all of these is probably the Panthers at the Texans. It's a week 3 game. I'm probably going to sleep through that one. But the rest of these games are pretty decent. All the rest of the games feature at least one team that made the playoffs the previous season. So it should be pretty interesting.
I think the Thursday night football games, from hearing you say and then just kind of looking over them, I think it's definitely better than last year. Michael's up with Sunday night football, and then we'll get into Monday. But I think the reason Thursday night football is so good this year is because the Monday night football stretch this year is not good, in my opinion, from looking at it. I just don't think I don't think there's many interesting ones at all. But
really?
I don't. Like, just looking through it.
I didn't look at it yet, so I can't say.
So yeah, we'll get into it more. But yeah, Michael, you're up with Sunday night football.
Goodness gracious, man. Hates on Michael Pittman, hates on Zayvon Collins, hates on Monday Night Football. Okay,
thank you.
But ignore all that, guys. But okay, so getting into Sunday Night Football here. This graphic does have the Cowboys and Bucks on because it's going to be on the Sunday Night Football telecast. But we already talked about that one. So Chicago, LA, that doesn't Kansas City, Baltimore. That's always got to do. Mahomes versus Jackson. Can Baltimore keep pace with Kansas City? I mean, I'm going to say right now, very early, no. Big no. Look, man, I'm a repeating record, but Lamar has got to throw the football. He's got to stop using his legs 50 times in a game. He has to stop. You win this championship in this day and age of football by throwing the football. That's how you do it. Defense of Baltimore obviously is the better one. They got alphas over there. As annoying as I find Marcus Peters, but hey, man, he's a dog. He sets the attitude there, and hey, he's one of those guys. If he's on your team, you love what he does. So that's that one. So what do y'all guys think about that one?
I think people give Lamar a lot of crap for not winning the big games. Even though every time the Kansas City Baltimore game happens, like it's always a fun game to watch. Now, I understand it's not in the playoffs, so people still give him crap on that. But I mean, when he's played the best in the regular season, I feel like the game's always very exciting. Now, I agree that Lamar has some limitations as a quarterback still that need to be worked out. But I mean, he was drafted with those limitations. So I think to an extent, whatever coaching staff is working with him specifically on his throwing ability and his throwing mechanics have really not done him justice at the next level, just because you haven't seen much improvement as a passer so far in his career. But I mean, dude's a special athlete. Dude's always going to find a way to impact the game. But I'm excited to watch that game. I'll always watch Baltimore, Kansas City.
Yeah, greatest athlete to ever play the quarterback position, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's not far off at all. I really love Lamar Jackson, athletic ability, and the things that he can create. When the play breaks down, like you say, his mechanics, his fundamentals is pretty off with how he throws the football, which causes the football to sail a lot. He throws a lot of high balls, and predominantly that's why he's only throwing it to his tight ends most of the time. He's only good at throwing seam balls. That's his specialty. He's not really going outside of the numbers too many times. He just needs to develop more as a passer, and that falls on the coaching staff. I got a quick question for y'all. Y'all know Lamar Jackson's extension is coming up. Do y'all pay him the same thing Dak got paid? Does he make $40 million a year? To y'all, in y'all opinion?
Man.
Really quick, because I don't want to get away straight too far.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, dude, because Dak did so much. And I think the biggest difference in those two quarterbacks is year by year, Dak showed that improvement in his arm. He showed it. He elevated each year. Both of them in leadership aspects, man, dude, I can't respect them anymore as leaders, dude. They're the leader of the franchise, best leaders in the league. But I think I would, obviously I'd extend him, dude. I mean, he's an MVP of the league. He's obviously brings a huge difference maker with his legs to the game. But when I sit him down, man, I mean, I'm going to have to be honest, like, hey, dude, I have to be able to see more. And hey, we'll extend you. We have no problem doing that, but gotta get better.
Hey, this is why you trade up for guys at the end of the first round like they did. They were able to exercise that fifth-year option. They didn't have to extend him too early. I mean, I still think he's definitely going to get extended. Like you said, he's just too special of an athlete, and there's just so many things he can do outside of his limitations. So, I mean, he's got to improve in some areas, but what he does do well, he's the best at in the NFL.
All right, Mike, it's on you.
All right, so keeping going here, Green Bay, San Francisco doesn't interest me at all unless Aaron Rodgers is on the San Francisco roster, which most likely will not happen. Tampa Bay and New England. Tom Brady returning.
Go back for a second.
Wait, hold on. Did you just interrupt me?
Yes, because
you're gonna Jeremiah Adams. Did you just interrupt me?
First of all, I want the listeners to know firsthand, my middle name is not Jeremiah. Secondly, Michael, everything you just said about the Packers-Niners game, I disagree with. And some of it, I think you messed up. So I think it's okay. First of all,
Jordan Love versus Trey Lance?
I think you meant to say that you don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the Green Bay roster.
No, he won't.
Yeah, you said San Francisco at first, so I was really confused.
If he's not on San Francisco, because, obviously all that stuff, can he get traded to San Francisco and all that stuff? That's what
you meant to say. So you meant to say San Francisco.
Yeah, I meant.
Wow. To. So then you're
doubled down.
Okay, so then
I doubled down.
Okay, good. So that was just dumb. It wasn't you were wrong. It was just dumb to say that. But I'll be honest. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Packer. I don't think he's going to get traded. I think they're going to end up making him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. I'm going to be honest. I just think that money talks. Money fixes the worst marriages. It really does. And I think it'll end up fixing it with them. And we'll see Aaron Rodgers as a Packer until he retires, is my personal opinion on the subject. And I think that game is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I didn't want to hear your personal opinion on it, but thank you for enlightening us, Destin.
Michael said he's in charge of Sunday night, damn it.
Again, guys, it's all love. Just got to keep reminding you. But Tampa Bay, New England. I mean, storylines all over. Oh my gosh, dude. Bill Belichick, he knows Tom Brady. He knows what he likes. He knows where he goes. Man,
He knows exactly where Tom Brady needs the ball deflated to.
Where he needs it deflated. Guys, I actually want to defer to you because I'm like a kid at Disneyland talking football again. I know what the matchups are, what are going on, but I don't want to go too long without letting you guys get in. So, Destin, I'll start with you.
So I think the video that's going to build up to that game is going to be amazing. I hate Tom Brady. Have always hated Tom Brady. But I'll watch the heck out of the promotional videos they're going to have for that situation. The game is going to be must watch. I actually disagree with Michael's statement that the Bucks Cowboys will be the highest rated regular season game. I think it's going to be this one. I really do think that the ratings are going to be there for this one. I really don't think there's going to be a football fan not watching. I mean, it's Brady going to New England. He's going to Foxborough. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'll be rooting for the Patriots.
I can't even believe we have to talk about these two entities on our podcast separately, though. For the first time, we're talking about these two entities separately on the same field. This is going to be a historic clash, and a lot of people are going to be heavily invested into this game, man. I think it has the chance to do wild numbers on as far as ratings goes. I don't think when it comes to X's and O's, I don't really think this is going to be that good of a football game, though, honestly speaking. I think the hype and the drama around it is going to be great. And I think even like Dustin said, the presentation and the way it's brought to you, the way it's packaged is going to be great. But when it comes to matchups and X's and O's, I think Tampa Bay is a clearly better team than the New England Patriots. Although the Patriots added a lot of weapons in the offseason, this Tampa Bay team has had a year to gel. They added a lot of weapons last offseason, and now they should be hitting their stride. We saw that season in last year. They just started playing their best football. And I think they're going to continue to build on that this year. I think they're going to be an extremely difficult team to handle. And I think the Patriots are going to still be trying to find themselves with Cam Newton, or will it be Mac Jones? Who knows, at the helm. It's just too much uncertainty with players coming back from COVID and guys coming back from injuries. It's
Mac
just a lot.
Jones is under center, the videos will even be better. It'll be amazing broadcast. Oh my gosh. It'll open up with Brady running the 40. And it'll end with it'll translate into Mac Jones finishing the 40, and man, it'll
end with the Patriots losing by 40. So
I mean, that's also very possible, but I just think it'll be something that everyone has to watch. I mean, I will say from what I said about Brady earlier, dude is much easier to root for in Tampa Bay. He just seems more like a human being when he's in interviews and stuff. Have I ever been willing to say I would like Brady to win a game? Never. I would prefer he goes 0-17 next year and doesn't touch the playoffs and never gets another Lombardi to throw boat to boat.
Look, the guy drinks avocado tequila. I can't root for someone that does that. I can't.
That's
so
where you draw the
easy
line.
to hate.
That's where you draw the line. Avocado tequila.
Dude, I'm Mexican. We love avocado. We love pico de gallo. I've never heard of avocado tequila. What? Okay, let's get back on track.
My skin is starting to crawl with this Tom Brady and Patriots.
Okay, look.
Jesus.
I would disagree with Rashad saying it's not going to be an X's and O's. It's going to be the biggest X's and O's matchup. Tom Brady going against Bill Belichick's defense.
I think Rashad's more saying he doesn't think the score is going to be close. So
Yeah.
he doesn't. So he's saying it's not going to be
close.
Good. He's saying it's not. He's saying it's not going to be.
Oh, it's not going to be close. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's going to be one of those games where it's so anticipated, but by the second half, you're just like, okay, all right, just like I came here for what I got. Okay.
The cable people don't care. Viewers count for whenever you turn it on.
Oh yeah.
They don't care if you flip it off. They get their numbers.
Getting rolling here. Buffalo, Kansas City, rematch of, I believe, the AFC Championship game. My goodness. Buffalo went and got Gregory Rousseau. They got Boogie Basham. Stephon Diggs is healthy. Cole Beasley. I mean, man, Patrick Mahomes still has no running game, but the offensive line got going. The defensive line is still like my freaking alma mater's defensive line. I mean, goodness, or not defensive line, or defense overall. Oh, man, it's going to be good. Going through this like lightning, how do y'all anticipate this matchup?
Now, this is going to be a football game. This is going to be an X's and O's game, Michael. This is going to be one of those games where you see top of the line talent on both sides of the football. I'm really excited to see what's going to occur. As we've seen, Kansas City made a trade today for Mike Hughes. I wonder what they can get out of him. I still find it weird that Rashard Breeland has not been re-signed yet, and that is a bit weird. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I look forward to seeing this game, man. It should be a high-scoring game. Both defenses will have to make a play. If I had to bet on a defense in this, it'd be Buffalo, because they have a secondary that would consist of 3 Pro Bowlers and 3 guys that are great at their position with Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and Tre'Davious White, of course, from LSU. So I look forward to seeing that matchup, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be a high scoring game. It'll be must watch football because of that. That's why it's prime time. It's going to be a game where you have to bet the over.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, last year's game wasn't that entertaining. I'll say that. It was not that entertaining at all. But moving on here, a familiar face, guys. The Colts are visiting San Francisco. Talking about these dudes again. Hey, I told y'all Carson Wentz has got to draw something. He's got to. He drew a Sunday night game. Me personally, that's my opinion. But not saying it's factual, but that's my opinion. The Colts going to San Francisco. I envision Matt Eberflus getting out coached like he normally does, but the players are going to play their behinds off. I'm actually getting I want to see that matchup, that offense, our defense, but it's going to be all about our offense versus their defense in that game. My opinion personally, it's going to have to that front seven, Fred Warner, manning the middle of that defense. It's going to be interesting, guys. Where are y'all at with this one?
I mean, it'll be a fun game. I mean, it's definitely getting a Sunday night football game in general is fun for the Colts to be able to have. They're going to have to play their A game, that game for sure. But it'll be must watch, and it'll be a game everyone's going to circle because that's the kind of game that'll show you what this Colts team is made out of.
I like this game. I spoke about it. I told you I think this will be the most difficult game of the 6-game stretch. So I went into detail about it, was going through the schedule as a whole, the Colts schedule. So I won't go into much detail here. I look forward to the matchup with Matt Eberflus and Kyle Shanahan. Michael, let's move along, Michael. Let's move along.
Okay, so that was your point?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just look forward to the matchup.
I'll shut up. I'll go from week 7 to week 12. We got the Cleveland Browns against the Baltimore Ravens, guys. Baker Mayfield versus Lamar Jackson. That defense, at some point, whenever Cleveland decides to get it together, at some point, that defense is going to be good. Drafting everybody every first round on the defensive side of the ball. So what are we looking at with this matchup, man?
I think Cleveland should be must watch the entire year. I just think that they have talent on both sides of the ball. They're going to need to get it together, like you said. But I think Cleveland's a team that should have been tied at the top of most primetime games. I'm shocked they didn't because of all the names they have on that side. But they should have had 5 games.
Cleveland, man, they must see football. I'm excited to see them. I'm excited to see them back at full strength once Odell shows up, and see if Baker can continue to do what he did at the end of last season, which is start to distribute the ball better because of Odell's absence and not rely on Odell as much. I think if he keeps that mind frame and continue to make plays with his legs, they have the best running back duo in the NFL. Colts fans, please don't hurt me, but Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt is just different. And we know the receiving weapons they have. Their offense is going to be exciting, but the pieces they added on that defense this season is going to pay huge dividends. Shout out to our boy A-Walk going over there. I think they're going to be an exciting team to watch, and they should be in that upper echelon in the AFC.
Going from week 12 to week 16, and this is going to be the last game we talk about on Sunday night slate. Washington heading to Dallas. I'm not going to lie, guys. I actually might even buy a ticket to this game and get a Washington jersey. That's how much I am buying into Ron Rivera's culture.
Who are you getting?
Oh, damn.
Heineke?
I love my linebackers, man. I might have to get David. I might have to Jamin Davis. I might have to get him, man. Or Chase Young, obviously. But look, man, in this matchup, I know for some reason ESPN continues to build up Dallas for whatever reason. I don't know why. Offense can't stay healthy. Offensive line can't stay healthy. Tyron Smith is looking like he needs to retire soon. Those are some serious injuries. Look, man, you got to have something more than wide receivers, man. Zeke's not the same Zeke anymore. The defensive line got worse somehow. You let go Antoine Woods, who was the heart and soul of your defense. Now he's with us, and now you're going to rely on Neville Gallimore. Good luck. Gums flapping DeMarcus Lawrence. He'll get shut down. Gregory might and get suspended. I don't know. I love what Washington is building. That defense is getting better. The offensive line, Cosme, now Leno is there. Fitzmagic, man, he can get as hot as anyone in the league. And I'm looking forward to this matchup. I got Washington all the way. They're my favorite in the East.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a game where you see a good offense go up against a great defense. And the fact that they added Fitzpatrick with Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin, I think that's going to be a really exciting offense. We already know what they have at the tight end position. We already know what they have at the running back position. I expect a big year from Gibson in his second season. Thomas at tight end, I expect him to make a leap. This offense can be exciting. We know whether it can be good Fitzpatrick or bad Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
If good Fitzpatrick show up, they can play with anyone in the NFL. But if bad Fitzpatrick show up, they can look like a team that shouldn't even win 4 or 5 games. But I think he as he gets older, he's becoming a little more consistent and less on the erratic side. So if good Fitzpatrick show up, the Cowboys are in for a long night because that defense can't cover a twin-size bed with a queen-size spread.
So, I'll watch the game, but if the NFC East gets a primetime game, it's usually not a fun game to watch. I like Washington. I think Dallas will be better than people think just because of the offense. I think they'll put up a lot of points.
Yeah.
I hope that Dak's able to play a whole year after last year. Dude was putting up MVP style of numbers because they were having to come back so much because their secondary blew, and it still sucks. But Dallas is a fun offense to watch. They got a lot of weapons. Dak's fun to watch. So I'll definitely watch the game.
Dude, they were 0-4 when they had Dak in that offense. Like, what the hell? Anyways, Washington even drafted Derek Forrest now. We all like Derek Forrest and what he brings. So I'm actually excited for that. So now we will send it over to Destin with Monday Night Football coverage.
And this is the One Call Technology topic of the day. One Call Technology is a managed telecom service provider whose senior staff has 100+ years of experience in virtually every aspect of business communications. Business phone system installation and services, managed telecom service providers, telecom carrier management, and high-speed internet. Head on over to One Call's website at www.onecalltech.com or give them a call at 888-585-8850 and tell them the Blue Stable guys sent you. And guys, we're to Monday Night Football, where apparently Michael thinks there's a big stretch of games, and I just don't see it. I guess the first one I'm going to highlight that I think will be a good game. The Colts at Ravens, I think is going to be a good game to watch for sure. The Colts, we already talked about that earlier, but That means I've skipped Monday Night Football weeks 1 through 4. If that tells you guys anything, I'm going all the way to week 5 for Monday Night Football because the first 4 are Ravens at Raiders, Lions at Packers, Eagles at Cowboys, and Raiders at Chargers.
Hey, man, you're not going to go watch Nick Sirianni? You ain't going to watch him just...
We went over this. I'm going to watch every game, but none of those games excite me.
No, they don't.
That was a terrible slate you ran through. The Colts Ravens game is the best Monday night game so far in that first 4-week stretch. I look forward to seeing it. We did a great job of stopping Lamar Jackson in the first half of the game last season. And then for some reason, it seemed like we went to a prevent defense and allowed all the short passes in the world. We allowed Lamar to get in a rhythm. And before you know it, he was like 11 for 11 in the second half. Don't understand how it happened. But as he got going, everything started to open up and that game went downhill. So hopefully we get a little revenge on them this season coming up. I look forward to that game.
The next game is actually pretty exciting too. That's week 6, and it's Buffalo at Tennessee. Buffalo's going to get to right the wrong of last year's weird COVID stint that the Titans had for all those weeks, and then the Bills had to play them off all that rest, and the Titans kind of gave it to them. And then the Bills after that game really were just unstoppable the rest of the regular season. They like played ridiculous, like had that fire in them. I think that'll be a fun game for sure.
Yeah. If you shut down Derrick Henry, you're gonna beat the Titans. I mean, that's just.
But how many people shut down Derrick Henry?
The Colts.
Not
That's
enough.
all that matters.
The Colts once.
I mean, he ran over 100 yards both games.
That's true.
Dustin.
He ran for over 200 yards in one of them.
He got majority of his yards in the fourth quarter, though.
That's when he's his best.
But I mean, in 2 games.
But the game was already out of hand. That's why.
But in 2 games, he put up over 300 yards. So let's not say we stopped him.
He played against us without our 2 best run-stopping defensive players.
Oh, so I don't disagree that there's other things that led to it, but you said we stopped him once, and I'm telling you that we didn't.
We did. We were shutting him down Thursday night. How do you think we built the lead? Man, Dustin, get on my screen, man. Shit.
Well, I just don't know what you call shutting down, I guess. He still went for over 100 yards. I mean, he definitely didn't dominate the game, obviously. We ended up winning. They were able to neutralize him to
Tennessee
a point.
Needs Henry to dominate to win.
I agree.
Did he score? I don't think he scored the touchdown, right? In that 100-yard game. I think he went a little over 100. He didn't have a touchdown. So I guess that's what Mike's called, containing him.
I mean, I guess compared to what he's able to do normally, the Colts did contain him a bit. And I mean, they were fully healthy that game. I'd be willing to let Derrick Henry do that against us if it meant we won every game personally. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't say we actually contained him. But the next one that I think looking at it seems interesting to me goes all the way to week 10. So we're jumping from week 6 to week 10, and it's the Rams at Niners. I mean, that division's always going to be fun to watch, especially in prime time. And the Rams and Niners, I mean, that's going to be 2 amazing defenses. The Rams have a really fun offense to watch as well.
That game, that's a division rivalry. They hate each other. I'm going to get about 70 phone calls that week just about how terrible the 49ers are, even though it's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie, but people have to make themselves believe that. That's going to be a fantastic game. They always play each other close, and I like the fact that Matthew Stafford is getting welcomed into this rivalry. I want to see exactly how he responds in high-pressure situations. So games when the Rams play the 49ers or when the Rams play the Seahawks or the Arizona Cardinals, this is a division where any team legitimately 1 through 4 has a shot at winning a division. So anytime the NFC West is playing against each other or we're playing a team from the NFC West, I'm going to be excited to watch it, man. I'm tuned in.
Honestly, it's disrespectful that Destin skipped over Giants and Chiefs. That's disrespectful. That's going to be an entertaining game. I think so.
Why?
Those weapons on the Giants against that defense in Kansas City
with Daniel Jones throwing it,
dude. Just give him I've literally said you have to find out who Daniel Jones is. You have to find out this year. He's given the weapons. Now is the time. If you don't make it happen, you're gone.
So
But
I apologize. The games I skipped from 6 to 10 were the Saints at Seahawks.
Well, no one cares about the Saints at Seahawks. I'm focused on the Giants and the Chiefs.
The Giants at Chiefs.
Focus on the Giants and Chiefs.
At this point, just go through all of them because Mike want to talk about every game.
No. I'm just saying that matchup actually intrigues me.
The Bears at Steelers. That's a better game. That's a better game than the Giants Chiefs.
Oh Jesus, that's
and
a shit show.
It was the Rams Niners. I mean, I just don't think any of those are must-watch football. I guess
the Bears and Steelers are that's an awful matchup.
But so, like I said earlier, apparently you like the Monday night slate more than I do. Week 10, I'm gonna skip all the way down. I'm gonna skip down to week 13. New England at Bills. If the Patriots are a better team, I think the battle for first place in the AFC East will actually be a lot of fun.
There's 3 teams that could legitimately have a shot at winning it. I mean, Miami, is an up-and-coming team, and depending on the development of Tua, that's how far they're going to go. But that defense is stacked. We know what that defense does with that secondary that they have and their ability to get pressure on the quarterback. So I think you're right about the NFC East, man. I mean, NFC East, AFC East.
I'm right about the NFC East too, though.
Yeah, you're right about the NFC East. But who wants to talk about them? I'm not talking about
Apparently
Michael,
who thinks the Giants are going to go into KC and put on a show.
Michael wants to talk about everybody at this point, man.
Hey, freaking Jacoby Brissett and the Colts missing 10 starters went in there and beat them. So, hey, crazier things have happened.
And now Jacoby's in Miami, the AFC East. So,
hey, Jacoby time.
If Tua struggles, man, it could be Jacoby time.
Maybe Jacoby gets to play that closer role like Fitzpatrick did. We don't know.
Hey, close your mouth. That's the only rule. Close your mouth. We're not going to talk about Jacoby coming in for Tua. That's what we're not going to do.
I apologize to Colts fans. We probably should not talk about Jacoby Brissett anymore. But after week 13, the week 14 game, Rams at Cardinals. I mean, I've talked about the Rams and Bills a lot so far in this Monday night slate, but I like that matchup too. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
I love it. Arizona secondary outside of Budda Baker, man. They did get Malcolm Butler, but he caught a lot of clout for that big time play he made in the Super Bowl. I don't really necessarily think he's that good, but that's going to be interesting, man. That front seven for Arizona, that has to be the bread and butter of the Arizona Cardinals. That has to be for them to win this game.
I think it's a good game on the field, but I think on the sideline, I think Sean McVay plays chess and Cliff Kingsbury plays checkers. So
yes.
Does Cliff Kingsbury even play checkers? I think he plays Uno.
Not TikTok, tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, one of those. Like Cliff Kingsbury just out there with a clipboard, man, and a pencil in his ear and a visor on, looking pretty cool. I must admit, I'm not a hater, but when it comes to X's and O's, don't tell me anything about Cliff Kingsbury, please. Please don't. I just can't wait till Kyler gets a real, head coach or OC over there that's gonna allow Kyler to flourish. Right now, he just has to go out there.
Joe Brady to Arizona.
God.
Joe Brady to Arizona after the Cardinals only win 6 games this year.
If Joe Brady gets his hands on Kyler Murray,
I would jump on it.
Woo, Dustin, that's a good one, Dustin.
Hey, fire Cliff now.
Joe, I think Joe's getting a job next year. And I bet the 2 jobs, if I'm Joe Brady and I'm looking at him and I'm like, what 2 teams could underperform and I get that job? He probably wants the Bengals because of so many LSU guys in Burrow and Chase. And then the Cardinals, man, that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I like Zach Taylor, but I just don't see him ready for that type of responsibility in Cincinnati. And who knows, maybe he can go right back to Sean McVay and get him a job as a OC or something. But I think Joe Brady and Kyler Murray, what? Oh man, Kyler will be unlocked. I know Mike likes that idea.
And
Love it.
the last Monday night game I'll give credit to, I'm going to skip 15 and 16, Vikings at Bears, Dolphins at Saints. I don't care about those. And then week 17, Browns at Steelers. I mean, depending on what the Steelers are this year, that could be for the division. If both those teams take a step forward and the Ravens aren't there, we don't know.
It won't be for the division. I guarantee. I will put $100 right now. That game would not be for the division.
I don't
At
care
all.
about this. I don't care about this game at all. I really don't.
So
I
you're telling me the Giants at Chiefs is a better game than the Browns at Pittsburgh?
Yes.
Pittsburgh offensive line is atrocious. I don't think it's a better
agree.
game. I think it's a better game than Giants and Chiefs. Mike, you're high on the Giants, huh, bro?
Man,
No,
apparently he's high on the NFC East outside of Dallas.
Look. Here's my thing with both. Well, I'll focus on the Giants. Let's just say Daniel Jones can just improve just a little bit, make certain throws. Do you see his offense? Just kind of like with Carson, he doesn't have an excuse this year. I'm expecting, if he's the competitor we hope he is, he's got to be coming in being the best of his ability, the absolute best. So if he can do that with freaking Slayton, Tony, Barkley, Rudolph, Ingram.
You ain't even say Galladay.
I was gonna.
Oh, you was building up to
I gotta
it.
drop the firework, man. God. Okay. Galladay, dude, he's got weapons everywhere. That defense, man, give that defense credit in New York. They're decent.
They're decent. They're decent.
They are good. They are good. Okay. So I think that's why I find it more interesting in KC, because KC on defense isn't stopping anyone. They're not tough. Okay. They're not tough. But
even good defenses aren't stopping Mahomes. I mean, that's the issue here. And the Giants defense, I mean, they're young and they're like getting better. I like the coach. I like Judge a lot. I think he's the right guy for the job to ride the ship. I don't know about Daniel Jones yet. We haven't seen enough of him. I just don't look at that game and say, oh, that's must-watch football. And those are the games that I was trying to highlight, was the games that I look at that I'm like, man, I can't miss that one.
So you can't miss aging Ben Roethlisberger. You can't miss that.
I mean, that division, I don't think you can miss any of those, like, especially in a primetime game like that.
I will literally go walk my dog for 3 hours just to purposely miss that game, because I already know the Cleveland Browns are going to win by 30 points.
And it's week 17. The game will have playoff implications.
And Pittsburgh will be playing for a top 10 pick.
Dustin, I mean,
you think Pittsburgh going to be that bad? I don't think they're going to be that bad.
They're going to be that bad, yes.
I don't know what I think they're going to be yet. I mean, I think they got better at some places. Their secondary got worse, and it was already bad. That's a red flag for me. The offensive line's going to be bad, obviously. I mean, I think they're going to have – but, I mean, they added a running back to be able to at least help the running game. And Najee Harris, I think he's going to be solid. I mean, their receiving core is back as it was, basically, and they're all solid. Big Ben, I mean, definitely had a bad end of the year. And I'm not a Big Ben guy. I feel like I've seen him regressing for the last couple of seasons personally. But it's still week 17. I can't imagine Pittsburgh's going to be eliminated by the playoffs by that point.
They will.
But we'll see
one
what
thing
happens.
One thing I can say about Mike Tomlin, he doesn't have losing seasons, bro. No matter who's hurt or who's out there playing, he finds a way to get it done. Even with no Ben, no Bell, no Brown. He found a way at the end of the season to scrap the 8-8.
They had some extra motivation without a first round pick, though.
Hey, but you also got to admit they did have an easy schedule last year when they went 11-0.
Oh, but it was ridiculous. Me and Michael talked about it last year. There was not a team that was gifted some of the scheduling things. They got to play like we made it a
so
tally.
Many teams with injuries
and backup quarterbacks.
Yes,
injuries at quarterbacks. Like they played like at least 6 backup quarterbacks in that like first 13 weeks.
Yeah,
that's unheard of.
It is. That's crazy.
Mike Tomlin could go 9-8, or he can go 8-9. But I am saying now, Pittsburgh will not make it to the playoffs. They won't.
I'm sorry. I looked on the timeline and saw somebody said Josh Reynolds was better than Michael Pittman. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Shout out to Locked On Titans with some of this dumb crap they're putting on the timeline tonight.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Locked On Titans putting some fire out there. But
better than Michael.
Man,
All right, man.
See, and Michael thinks that I disrespect Michael Pittman by saying I don't think he's ready to be a number one receiver.
He doesn't think you're ready to be a homeowner. How about that?
That's fair. There's a good argument to say I probably shouldn't, but we're doing it anyway.
And on that note, we're going to escort the good people out of our home. This has been another episode of the Blue Stable Podcast. We want to thank y'all for tuning in. We encourage y'all to go visit thebluestable.com. There's being fresh new articles being printed up every day on there. You can catch the podcast content and the YouTube content on there as well. You guys have anything you want to say before we head out?
We know who we're gonna play. I don't want to hear any complaints about the schedule. We knew what the opponents were gonna be.
Oh, record prediction real quick for everybody before we head out. What you got, Dustin?
11-6.
Damn it. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm gonna say the same thing I said last year. I can't put any high expectations on this team with as many questions as they have.
So what you got?
So my record prediction probably actually going to surprise you guys, but I am going to say 7-10.
Wait, you serious?
Yeah, I'm being serious. This team has a lot of questions, dude.
They do. I'm just didn't know if you were serious.
No, I'm being serious. Without knowing those answers, I can't put any high expectations on this team.
All right, well, I'm gonna go with this is my ceiling actually for this team. I wanted to give it 11-6, but Dustin picked that, and that's corny, so I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna go with goodness gracious. I'm gonna go with 12-5. That is my ceiling for this team, though. I believe my floor is somewhere where Mike is. So if Carson Wentz goes south like this, it can easily be what Mike said. That's why I wasn't surprised when you said it. But I was just like, okay, Mike's looking at it on the low end.
And Mike's usually the optimist. So that's why I was shocked to hear it. Is he's usually the guy who is expecting the high go. But if I had to say a floor and ceiling, I'd say the 7 is my floor too. Mm-hmm. I think I also, side note, I hate the record numbers for 18 weeks.
I know.
It sounds ugly. I have to think about it.
It does not sound good coming out of my mouth. But I'm gonna say 7 wins is the floor. I'm gonna say 13 wins is the ceiling.
13-4.
Yeah, man. It's just so hard, dude. This pass rush, quarterback, 2 most important things you need in a team. Those are huge questions right now, and I can't get up. Like I said last year, Destin, when your questions in week 1 are still your questions in week 17, you're not going anywhere. You may get playoffs and everything, but you're not winning championships.
Well, the great thing about it is we still have about 3 more months to really discuss it and break it down. And I'm sure Mike's going to have a change of heart as we get closer to the season.
Probably not.
I want to thank y'all for tuning in, man. This has been another episode of the Blue Stable, and we are out.